Welcome to a fresh perspective on leadership drawn straight from the field of battle to the boardroom. Today we're going to explore the book, Extreme Ownership, How U.S. Navy SEALs Lead and Win by Jocko, Willink, and Leif Babin. These two authors aren't your typical leadership gurus. They're decorated former Navy SEAL officers who've taken their experiences from the battlefield and translated them into invaluable leadership principles. The core concept they present is extreme ownership, a philosophy that emphasizes taking full responsibility for everything that happens under your command. This concept transcends the battlefield, proving relevant and transformative in all leadership roles, whether it's running a Fortune 500 company, leading a small team, or guiding a family. The authors argue that leaders who embody extreme ownership foster a culture of accountability, resulting in teams that are more cohesive, adaptable, and ultimately, successful. Let's dive into the depths of this book, chapter by chapter, to unravel the secrets of effective leadership. Chapter 1 lays the foundation with the principle of extreme ownership. This principle is the bedrock of leadership as portrayed in the book Extreme Ownership, How U.S. Navy SEALs Lead and Win by Jocko, Willink, and Leif Babin. What does extreme ownership mean, you might ask? It's about taking complete responsibility. It's about owning every aspect of your world, not just the victories, but also the setbacks, the mistakes, the failures. It's about understanding that if something goes wrong, it's not someone else's fault, it's not the environment or the circumstances, it's on you. In the book, the authors share a compelling example from their Navy SEAL experiences. In the heat of a chaotic battle in Iraq, a mistake was made. It resulted in a tragic friendly fire incident. Though it was a complex situation with multiple contributing factors, Jocko Willink, as the commander, took full responsibility. He didn't point fingers or make excuses. He owned it. This act of extreme ownership not only preserved his leadership but also built trust and respect among his team. But extreme ownership isn't just about taking the fall, it's also about owning the solutions, the strategies, the path forward. It's about taking charge, taking initiative, taking action. It's about owning the change you want to see, owning the results you want to achieve. In another instance from the book, a failing SEAL team turned around their performance, not by changing team members or resources, but by changing their leader. The new leader took extreme ownership, identified the issues, implemented solutions, and led the team to success. He didn't blame the previous leader or the team members. He owned the situation, the problems, and the solutions, and that made all the difference. So what does this mean for us as leaders? It means that we need to step up, to own not just our successes, but also our failures. We need to own every decision, every action, every outcome. We need to embrace extreme ownership. As leaders, the buck stops with us. We own the outcomes, good or bad. The second chapter strikes a chord with a profound truth. There are no bad teams, only bad leaders. This assertion might seem bold, yet it's grounded in a fundamental truth about how groups function. The success or failure of a team largely hinges on the quality of its leadership. Consider a scene from the book where Navy SEAL training is described. Two teams, both equally skilled, perform drastically different under the same conditions. One team excels while the other flounders. The difference? Leadership. It's the leader's responsibility to guide and inspire, to set a clear course and ensure everyone is rowing in the same direction. If a team is underperforming, the leader must first look inward. Are they communicating effectively? Are they setting the right expectations and providing the necessary resources? It's not about blaming the team, it's about taking ownership of the outcome. The quality of a team reflects the quality of its leadership. Chapters 3 and 4 delve into the heart of decision-making with the principles of believe and prioritize and execute. Let's start with believe. Belief in the mission is not just a nice-to-have, it's a must-have. Without belief, actions lack passion and conviction, and this can lead to half-hearted efforts that rarely yield successful outcomes. In Extreme Ownership, the authors share a vivid example, a complex operation in Ramadi, Iraq. The mission's success hinged on every team member believing in its importance and putting their all into it. Their belief was not just in the mission itself, but also in their leaders, their team, and their own abilities. Now, believing in the mission is crucial, but it's only half the battle. The other half is about prioritizing and executing tasks effectively. In the heat of battle or the hustle of daily operations, it's easy to get overwhelmed. That's where prioritize and execute comes into play. Prioritizing means identifying the highest priority task and executing it before moving on to the next. The authors illustrate this principle with a real-world scenario from the battlefield. In the midst of chaos, they had to quickly determine the most pressing issue, deal with it, and then move on to the next. It's like putting out the biggest fires first. This approach is not just for the battlefield. It's applicable in any situation, from running a business to managing a project or even organizing your daily tasks. In essence, believe and prioritize and execute are two sides of the same coin. Belief fuels action, and prioritizing ensures that action is directed where it can make the most impact. When combined, these principles create a potent formula for decision-making and execution. So whether you're a leader in the military, business, or any other field, remember this. Belief in the mission provides the why, prioritizing and executing provide the how. Together, they guide you towards successful outcomes. Believing in the mission and prioritizing tasks effectively are key to successful execution. Chapters 5 and 6 introduce the concepts of decentralized command and leading up and down the chain. Let's delve into the concept of decentralized command first. In essence, it's about empowering your team members to lead in their specific roles, trusting them to make decisions that contribute to the overall mission. The idea is to create a balance where leaders are not micromanaging every detail but also not completely hands-off. It's about fostering a culture where each individual understands their role, embraces it, and takes ownership of it. For instance, in Extreme Ownership, Willink and Babin recount their experiences in Iraq where their teams had to make split-second decisions under extreme pressure. The decentralized command allowed them to act swiftly and effectively because they were empowered to make decisions within their scope. Now, let's talk about leading up and down the chain. This concept emphasizes the importance of leadership in all directions. It's not just about leading your subordinates, but also effectively communicating and influencing your superiors and peers. This bidirectional leadership is crucial for achieving alignment and unity within an organization. Again, drawing from the book, there's the story of a SEAL team tasked with a mission that seemed impossible due to resource constraints. Instead of accepting defeat, the team leader used his ability to lead up the chain, effectively communicating the team's needs to his superiors, which ultimately led to mission success. In both these concepts, the underlying theme is clear. Effective leadership is about giving and taking ownership. It's about fostering a culture of trust, where everyone is empowered to lead in their respective roles and influence others, regardless of their position in the hierarchy. These concepts, though drawn from a military context, apply universally. In businesses, in volunteer organizations, in families, they are about nurturing an environment of shared responsibility, where everyone feels accountable and everyone feels like they are a part of the bigger picture. Effective leadership requires the ability to lead at all levels and to delegate effectively. The final chapter, The Dichotomy of Leadership, brings all these principles together. Picture a tightrope walker. That's leadership in a nutshell. It's a constant balancing act, an intricate dance between two opposites. Let's delve into some of these dichotomies. First, we have confidence versus cockiness. A leader needs to exude confidence to inspire trust. But when confidence morphs into cockiness, it can lead to blind spots and mistakes. Then there's being cautious versus being paralyzed by fear. Caution is a leader's ally, encouraging meticulous planning and risk assessment. However, when caution turns into fear, it can halt progress and stifle innovation. In Extreme Ownership, Jocko, Willink, and Leif Babin offer compelling examples of Navy SEALs navigating these dichotomies, providing us with valuable insights into the delicate art of leadership. Remember, leadership isn't about being perfect, it's about understanding and negotiating these dichotomies. Leadership is a delicate balance, a balance that demands extreme ownership. As we wrap up, let's reflect on the key points we've discussed. From the outset, extreme ownership is a principle that calls leaders to take full responsibility for their team's results. In any organization, there are no bad teams, just bad leaders. It's a leader's duty to transform their team into an effective unit. We talked about the importance of believing in the mission, prioritizing tasks, and executing them. This is the backbone of any successful operation. We also highlighted the concept of decentralized command, a leadership style that empowers team members by giving them responsibility and authority. Leading up and down the chain is another significant principle, ensuring everyone in the organization regardless of rank, understands the mission and the strategy. Lastly, we dove into the dichotomy of leadership. The balanced leaders must strike between opposing forces. Remember, leadership is not a position or a title, it's action and example, and it starts with extreme ownership.